Rich, Forza Motorsport, which is the reboot, I guess, of the Forza Motorsport franchise, comes out. It comes out this week for early access people.
Yeah.
And it's out next week for everyone on Xbox. And if you've got Game Pass, it's on Game Pass.
Yep.
So we did what we usually do, Rich, and we did a comparison video, and we ran through everything, because there's like 5 modes across the 2 games.
Yeah.
Because it's a current gen only game. No next gen, no last gen. Just the series is.
Good.
First things first, we have the Series S. We have the visuals mode, which is 30 FPS, and we have the performance mode, which is 60 FPS.
Yeah.
And absolutely rock solid. And I think it actually looks like, it's weird. Like, obviously you want to play it in 60 FPS. Obviously, because it's a racing game, and it's those little details and those little like frames count, Rich. But it wasn't too bad in visuals mode. It wasn't so jarring to go from one to the other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like it's all right and go. It looks really good in performance on the Series S. And then on the X, right, we've got visuals mode, which is 4K 30.
Yeah.
We've got performance mode, which is 60 FPS. No, it's 60 FPS with resolution that changes, supposedly. And then you got performance mode, which is solid 60.
See, now I thought this would be...
I think I might have got that wrong, because it's very confusing across the 3. But it's basically like the performance with ray tracing is solid 60. The performance is solid 60.
Yeah.
The visuals mode is solid 30. And that's pretty much all there is to say.
I thought this was going to be a cake and eat it game where you got the best of both worlds, but it isn't.
It kind of is, because it's very hard to tell. You can see the difference between visuals and performance on the Series S.
Yeah.
But when you get on the X, I actually couldn't really tell the difference between visuals, performance ray tracing, and performance.
Oh.
It's a little bizarre.
So... Are these modes essentially pointless?
I mean, yeah, a little bit, yeah. I'll be honest. Like, I don't see the point in the 30 FPS mode, the visuals mode. Yeah. Because look, if you look at the cars on the performance ray tracing of the performance, that it looks just as good as the visuals.
Huh. So yeah,
but
why bother with visuals mode?
And I couldn't even really tell the difference. Obviously the ray tracing, but in terms of like visual fidelity and resolution,
struggling, I've got to say.
I couldn't really tell the difference between the performance ray tracing and the performance. No. Obviously you got the ray tracing. So, but I meant in terms of like actual visual fidelity. Yeah. So it is a weird one. But this is the best gaming experience in terms of racing games I think I've ever had.
Really?
Like, just 60 FPS, torrential rain at night.
Oh, it looks cracking.
Absolutely, it's phenomenal. Look at the rain in the sky. It's like, and that was the Series S. Now look at it on the X. It's just, it's just phenomenal in terms of like visuals.
It does look good.
It's I mean, it's a very good looking game. So what we do is we started with the moving shots, and then the next few shots in a bit, photo mode. And then the next few shots after that are the showroom. It's got a name, hasn't it? What's it called?
Forza Vista.
Forza Vista, that's it. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, that sounds about right. But like, look how good it looks, like in performance mode on the Series S in the car. Like super slick, just looks great. And obviously the Series X looks better, obviously.
Of course.
But if you got a Series S and you're playing this,
it's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah, because I actually played it for a good hour or 2 on the Series S. Yeah. Just to see how it performed. And it performs pretty great. But I would say that it's not a very taxing game. Right. Because, like, with Horizon, massive open world, it's got stuff to do. It's got a lot of pressure on it. Whereas this, you're just kind of loading up a map. If you know what I mean. So if you could do it in Forza Horizon 5, I can't see why it wouldn't be able to do it in this. So I mean, it's a good version. Series S, can't knock it. But the Series X version, Rich, is delightful. just visually. So I've just tried to mix up the weather as well, because obviously you can change the weather and the time of the day.
Do you remember when Forza didn't have weather?
Oh mate, and it didn't have night either.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that when I was capturing this.
It? And people were after it
so long.
Yeah,
it just absolutely blew my mind.
I remember they were like, we're not going to do it until we can do it properly. It's like, loads of other racing games manage it, but okay.
They've kind of done it properly in this. So this is like, I think this is like a hazy morning or a hazy sunset. So just a bit of different terms in terms of lighting. But the lighting in this game is great in terms of just everything. Just with the rain though, it's phenomenal. Like one of the most intense racing experiences I think I've ever had.
Oh wow, okay.
I mean ever, Rich.
Blimey.
Ever.
All right.
Ever.
Flipping it.
But yeah, like look at that. Like now it's jumped off. But even this Series S, look, the performance actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So
does look nice.
I will say one of my criticisms is that the tracks don't really feel alive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a fair point. Yeah.
They feel a little bit dead. I mean, I know when you're going 120 miles an hour, like doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, you compare this to something like a Grid, right?
Yeah.
And Grid is just like, that's one of the most, I guess, cinematic driving experiences.
The sort of fireworks and streamers and things in the air and stuff. Yeah.
You get the odd helicopter on this.
Right, okay.
That's about it. And I was trying to time it in terms of my driving, but sometimes the AI in this game is just super aggressive.
We'll just ram you off the road.
Oh, mate, they're mental. But yeah, of course, we had to get the Porsche in as well, Rich.
Of course,
a couple of Porsches, actually. Speaking of the Porsche, Rich, so we've got the side-by-side. And look, as you can tell, like the visuals, it's a little bit better in the visuals on the Series S. That much is very apparent. But this is when we're stopping the game, right?
Yeah.
How often do you stop the game in a racing game? You don't really.
No, so I suppose not.
You don't stop to look around and ignore the tarmac, because like I think the visuals does have a better tarmac, but the performance mode is actually a moving shot. Until it took me. Well, that was the first one I did, the second one I did, and I was like, oh shit, I should have stopped the car. But But as you can tell, they all look pretty good. Like this is, you're going to see the ray tracing.
Yes,
the reflection's pretty good across the board.
Yeah,
regardless. But when we get onto the next version with the ray tracing, you're going to see it pop a lot more in terms of the reflections and just the colours.
Very nice.
Which I tell you what, though, what you should look out for now is look at all the people in the background, right? On the Series X. Right, first things first, look at the ray tracing. Just look at the colours that pop in. I mean, there's not a massive difference, like, because it looks good in performance as well, and it looks good in visuals. I
suppose visuals is a subtler reflection effect, isn't it?
It is, and it's a lot bolder. But look at the stands there on that, Rich. Empty.
Weird.
So I don't know whether that's something that they had to do on the Series S to get it working. Just like, because when we flick over to the Series X, any second
no fans of motorsport on Series S.
But and then obviously on the Series X you got the fans, so that was one of the differences I noticed.
Wow.
But I do think performance ray tracing looks better than performance, just slightly. But like, I mean, you can't really tell the difference between the two.
Is that the one you go for? Honest. I think I'd go for performance ray tracing.
I've been playing it on performance ray tracing.
Oh, there you go.
I played it on maybe like an hour and a half on each mode. Visuals, I mean, the 30 FPS isn't that bad, but when you got a choice, right? So now you're going to see. Look at the ray tracing and the next gen versions of the reflection of the cook in the spoiler. Like you get that on all the versions though. So this is what I mean by a little bit pointless in terms of having the three versions. Like maybe just have two versions, 30, 4K, and then performance that moves
60 and like upscaled 4K, isn't it? Something.
It's weird because it doesn't actually like says. I think it says that on the ray tracing one, it's like a variable dynamic resolution, but I didn't really notice much of a difference between that and the visuals mode. I mean, you look at it now and you look at the spoilers and you look at all the minute details, and I mean, I couldn't really tell which is which if you put them next to each other. So, well, we have put them next to each other, but you know what I mean. Right? So, yeah. I mean, now, Rich, this is the Forza Vista.
Lovely.
Now, you can see the differences between, obviously, the Series S and the X here. But you're going to be hard pushed to see the differences between the performance ray tracing and performance. Like,
see,
the S
I'm
looks like it's got
there's even modes in this bit. You'd think this would just be a fixed, because you're not really...
Well, yeah, and I'm fairly sure that, I'll have to double check this, but I think all of this is 30 FPS.
Right.
So maybe there aren't any differences, but obviously there are differences between the S and the X here.
Of course.
As you can see with the swipes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the cars still look great. You can see that I think there is a bit of a difference actually, because some of the background stuff is more, and the lighting is slightly different on the performance ray tracing to the performance, but only slightly.
God,
but I mean,
Bugatti, look at that.
Oh mate, it's nice, right? It's nice,
really nice.
But if I just don't see the point of the 30 FPS visuals mode.
No,
because the performance and the performance ray tracing mode look so good. So it's not like you're missing out on visual fidelity.
So top tip: playing one of the 60 FPS modes. Don't even bother with the visuals.
Absolutely.
Mode.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's pointless, but it's as close to pointless as it can get.
Yeah.
So. But I mean, it's such a gorgeous game still. But yeah, the thing that the tracks are a little bit lifeless, I would say. That's my only criticism. In terms of like the actual look and feel of the game, I got many criticisms to do with the Korea, which has mandatory practice sessions, which is crazy.
I hate that. I don't understand that at all.
But visually, performance-wise, like just a stunning game. But I would say, Rich.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say it's any better looking than Horizon. At all.
Really?
5, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, that surprises me. Because like you said, you've got an open world versus an enclosed track.
So you'd expect the one to absolutely... Well, you'd expect Motorsport to absolutely eclipse
not just that,
Horizon.
It's also on Series X and S and not having to scale down for the other platforms, so...
Oh, yeah, because it was the last. Oh, the last one was But do you remember the last video we did?
Yeah.
And it stripped away some of the environment.
Yeah.
And like trees and bushes and stuff.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, Rich. But that's Forza Motorsport. It's out on Game Pass next week, and it's out to buy next week, and it's out on early access this week. It's a very good looking game. Good versions across the board. Slightly pointless visual mode. Just play on 60 FPS. Whether you want performance or ray tracing. I'd probably go for ray tracing if I'm completely honest.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Cheers, folks. Goodbye.
Bye.